Well, I made it. It rained all last night and there's a chance of rain today. So hopefully that holds off because I already got a heavy load out and I decided not to bring a tarp for the extra weight. So if it rains, I'm gonna get wet, but I don't think it will. I also brought some steak and eggs for breakfast. So we'll have a little feast, test out the council tool axe, and have some fun. I imagine I'm going to use this as a kind of little camp axe just to split up some bigger rounds for firewood, so let's give it a shot. You can see this isn't straight grained. No point testing it on something that's going to split if you look at it hard enough. This is red oak and it's twisty and knotty. Let's bring you guys in here for a closer look at these two beautiful American-made tools. The knife made by Dave Whipple from Bushradical is just beautiful in its simplicity. It comes with this buttery smooth bloodwood handle, two brass pins epoxied onto a full tang. The spine is sharp. The Scandi has just the tiniest of micro bevels for durability, which is sharp out of the box, ready to be used. And there's just not a whole lot to say about this knife other than it is gorgeous and no nonsense like Dave himself. Up for the task, whatever that task might be. I discovered him when he was on with his wife, the History Channel season 3 of Alone. His wife, a badass in her own right, returned for another season right after that. But about a year ago, he got into custom knife making. And I've been following his process since then, and he is producing some really beautiful knives, and this one is no exception. I bought this because it has this beautiful bloodwood handle, and the other thing I really like about his knives is that he grinds the Scandi all the way down to the handle here, and this is where I really like to get a lot of productivity out of a knife. And I haven't used this yet. I'm going to use it today some, and you know, how much could I tell you about it in one day's use? But let's be honest. I mean, how much do you actually use a knife camping? Cut some string here, maybe process a little firewood, kindling for a fire, or cut some food. I mean, this needs to do what it was designed to do, and I have no doubt it's going to do that. It's a beefy knife, and it feels really good in the hand. It came sharp. I didn't do anything to it, but I bought this thing because it's beautiful, and every time I pull it out of its beautiful sheath, I'm gonna enjoy using it. And I wanted to support Dave. He's doing beautiful work, and craftsmanship should be rewarded. So Dave, if you're watching this, thanks, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sure you'll be rewarded even more so than you have already. Thanks, man. The axe is Council Tools Hudson Bay Camp Axe, the budget version. And if you just wanted to process some firewood when camping, it will do that right out of the box. The handles are reasonably thin and it comes sharp enough to split for sure. If you want to do a little chopping or limbing with it, I would recommend thinning down the handle, thinning down the cheeks a little, and I'd say you're good to go. Let's put these guys to the test and have some fun here. All right, I don't know if this is a good test for a knife or not, but you see all the bushcrafters do it, and that's make feather sticks. It's actually probably one of the things that I've learned from the so-called bushcraft community that is actually helpful when wood is wet. Truth be told, I just learned about the term like 2 years ago, even though I've been wild camping and in the woods my entire life. And this is something they're always doing to test out knives, so let's go ahead and give the feather sticks a shot. This is some seasoned ash. Looks like it makes feathers to me. I really like because I can work right there close to the handle. Don't look bad to me. In my experience, if you really want to make good shavings, you take a good sharp spine and just scrape the shit out of it. There, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that's what I'm looking for. And I think the spine is much better suited for that than so-called feather sticks. Let's see if it'll take a spark. All of Dave's knives come with these beautiful brown leather sheaths, hand stitched. The retention on it is really good, not too tight to where you have to fight it, but it buries itself in there nice and deep so that the handle's not hitting you in the elbow when you're working. It's really soft leather, nice and thick welt in there to protect your blade. I don't know what else to say. I mean, if you're looking for something to critique and you want all of your knives burnished on the edge here, it doesn't come that way, so you'd have to do it yourself. But on this soft brown leather, there's just something about the way this looks that it seems like it would be a crime to burnish this. So I like it. Dave, I'm a fan of yours, and now that I have one of your knives in my hand, I'm a fan of those too. I'm going to continue to put it to the test, and this knife really deserves its own video altogether, and I'm sure after I use it a while it'll get its own video. But first impressions, good job, Dave. Good job. All right, let's do the batoning test, because if I don't, YouTube will come down on my head. This isn't something I would really do with a piece like this, but I would maybe do this for kindling, but I would never do it with something like this. But just to say we put it to the test, let's make a little kindling by batoning Dave's knife. And this is some gnarly locust. It's fairly straight grained here, so it shouldn't be a problem, but it is dense. There's one piece. Dave's knife's still intact. We'll go right for the heart. There's another piece. You can see how dense this wood is here. I mean, this is some dense, highly seasoned. It was dead standing whenever I sawed it up. All right, one more piece right down the middle for YouTube. Will it break? Will the edge lose its retention? Stay tuned. No, it didn't break. And it's still as sharp as when I took it out of the box. Well, I don't know what else to do with it. Oh, you know what? Here's what we'll do with it, because this is what I would probably be doing with the knife. Here's a little bit of cordage I need to cut. Here's the cord cut. Knife test passed. All right, time for breakfast. Dave, I'm sure the last thing you were expecting in a knife review was to carve up some filet mignon and have some bacon and eggs, but let's be honest, man, this is what we do with knives in the woods. We're not batoning the shit out of it. We're just using it for stuff just like this. And if you need a bushcraft knife to cut a steak, this one does just fine. I really love the open nails for food prep out in the woods because of that full flat grind, but this Scandie's doing just fine. This is probably a sin to most of you guys who like your steak rare, that I'm chopping it up in the finer pieces like this, but it's the way I was raised, man. We eat our steak well done here in Western Pennsylvania. Not all of us. There's plenty of guys out here that like it just shy of being alive. If I didn't piss you rare steak guys off already, watch this. Hot sauce and garlic. It might not be how you guys like it, but it sure is delicious to me. I'll get with you guys in a second. I don't care what you guys say, that was delicious. And to top it all off, a little nip of scotch. It's not too early, is it? I mean, after all, the prophets Jimmy Buffett and Alan Jackson say, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere. Cheers. I hope you guys are well. I'm gonna get back to testing these tools out, but while I'm digesting, I'm just rereading The Prince by Machiavelli. I read this in college when I fancied myself a intellectual, whatever that means. I suppose it means to be well-read and well-spoken, and by my estimation, those things are still good things to be. But yeah, given what's going on in the world, it seemed like this might be a good book to read, and now I'm on chapter 9. I am not wrong. It's still pertinent. He was writing about the kings and the princes in the Middle Ages and how they kept power. He was suggesting things they should do and should not do to stay in power, and sort of writing about the historicity of how kings and princes came to be in power, dividing them up into groups. But enough about that. I know you guys aren't here to hear me give a book review. You guys are here to see me test tools. So we'll get right back at it. Just let me digest, read a little bit, and I'll get with you guys as soon as I'm ready. I'll see you in a minute. Well, that's all the time I got this morning. Only a few minutes to work on the handle here. I'll have to continue to sort this palm swell out. I'm going to scoop it out right here. Probably do that on the bandsaw in the morning and finish off with the 4-in-1. All right, cover your ears. We got the dental tools out. These things sound like two weasels going at it. Look at that color come out of there. Definitely think this is heartwood. being stubborn. Knots. Got knots all over the place. It's always a question of what to do with those guys. Just try going through them. That knot will not let that pop off of there. Man, those cheeks are fat up here, which would be good for splitting. Sometimes you just gotta hit it where it lies. Pop. Ooh. Get off of there. Unbelievable. But that just holds on. Helps if you hit the same spot. Look at that. This is the shit I gotta deal with. All right, guys, that's all I got time for today. I mainly came out here to test out these two tools. Both held up and did exactly what I expected them to. Dave's knife is just a beautiful specimen of what a bushcraft knife should be. It does what it's supposed to do. It does what a knife is supposed to do. It feels good in the hand. It held up well to the little bit of abuse that I put it through. But honestly, it does what a knife is supposed to do, and it is gorgeous, just gorgeous. The axe, I was worried about the head coming loose. It hasn't done that so far, and you can see I cut another sizable chunk of wood for the cordwood challenge. So if you think that it's difficult to cut a cord of wood in a year with only an axe, you're wrong. It's not. The difficult part is finding time in our busy lives, and that's kind of the point. If you participate in the challenge, you're more likely to get out in the woods and enjoy yourself like I did today. I mean, I mostly came out here to just have breakfast and play around with a knife and an axe. What more could a young man at heart want? Get out there, guys. I'll see you on the next one. once again, don't forget to put out the fire. Of course, just using this axe and this knife in one day do not make these great tools. Being made in America do not make these great tools. What will make these great tools ultimately is if they stand the test of time. I was worried about the head coming loose, and usually in production axes, if they're going to come loose, they come loose the first day. Yeah, and I know I'm going to do all this and then the friggin' head's going to come loose, as they do on Council Tool and pretty much every other production axe out there. That's like the only thing I want in a production axe. Just let the hang be on point and solid, and I'll take care of everything else. But in knives, custom knives especially, the thing that I worry about is the heat treat. You got guys that are trying to figure out the process. It's not a company that has been doing it one way for a long time, and you worry that, you know, you might get some metal that's either too hard or too soft. Even the little I use this already, I can tell that that's not going to be the case. It will be interesting to sharpen this, and that will tell me a little bit more about the metal. So both of this axe and this knife deserve their own videos. But Dave, I will definitely be doing a whole video dedicated to this knife once I use it some more. But I don't want to do it an injustice by just talking up all its good points right now. I need to use this, and then I'll let you know if I have any concerns about anything or any little thing that I might change. Suggestions, I guess. So yeah, that should be said, that these tools need to be used more before I will give them my 100% stamp of approval. But for the first round, they're looking real good.